This is Excel Chapter 3. So I have a few things we're going to work on in this particular guided project are the charts. So I have my file. I'm going to go ahead and go to File and Save As, save it onto my desktop. And then we're going to jump into step number 3. And so for this worksheet, you notice we have 2 tabs, just like we did in Chapter 2. So when you look at the instructions, you got to kind of make sure you're working on the right tab. Step 3 says to click the Revenue by Department tab, which is all of the different types of products we sell in their departments. So we're going to create a pie chart from this data. So we're going to select, it says in step 4A, A4 to F4. And then we're going to hold the control key down and we're going to select A13 to F13. We're basically going to create a pie chart out of the golf information. And then we're going to click on the Insert tab because that's where we go to find the charts. And we're going to click on Recommended Charts because we can do different kinds of charts, and what Excel will do is recommend which chart's the best for the information you've selected. So we're going to choose pie and click OK. Now we're going to change the style, and a lot of this is exactly the same as what we worked with charts in PowerPoint. It's just now we're actually in Excel. Otherwise, it's not very much different. So we're going to select the chart object, which is this whole chart, not just the pie. And we're going to click on the More button. So we're on the Design tab. And in this section where the chart styles are, we're going to use this little More button because we want to see more options. And we are looking for Style 12, which is the last one. Now you notice when I didn't select Style 12, it's kind of got these white lines, it's flat. Style 12 is a little more 3D-ish. Step number 6, we're going to size it. So we're going to point at the chart, and we're going to, so we see the move pointer, which is this 4-sided arrow. We're going to click it and drag it so it says it's in the top left corner of cell A21. So like right there. And now we're going to point at the bottom, size pointer, and we're going to drag so we get to G36. So we're making it pretty much the same width as our information and a little bit taller. Now we're going to choose the pie chart itself, and we want to change the chart type. So we're going to go to the Design tab, and we're going to go to this section where it says Change Chart Type, and we're going to make it a 3D pie, and then click OK. And we're going to format all of the different parts of it now. So it says double click the pie, and you get the format elements over here on the right hand side of your screen. You want to click the Atlanta slice, which is this blue one. So when you click on it, you notice that now these little dots are only around that blue triangle. Okay. So we're going to click on this side where it says Series Options. That's this chart looking one, and we're going to go to the Set Pie Explosion Percentage to 10. So we're going to delete the 0 and type in a 10, and then hit enter. So you notice what that did is it pulled that pie a little out of the big, or that slice, excuse me, out of the big pie. So now we can close that and deselect the Atlanta slice by clicking somewhere else. Now we're going to add some elements. We're going to add a legend and a couple of other things. So select the chart if it's not already selected, and you're going to click this chart elements, that's plus sign, in the upper right hand corner that pops up. We're going to go to where it says Data Labels. We're going to go to the More Options, and we want the data labels to More Options. We want the data labels to have the percentage, and then we don't want the value. And while they're selected, you notice they have these little boxes. We're going to hit Control B to make them bold. And we're also going to change the font size. So on the Home tab, we're going to make it size 12. So we've pretty much changed the labels, and we're going to click somewhere here to deselect those labels. Now we're gonna click the chart again. We don't want the little labels to be selected, so that's why we have to click off and back on the chart. And now we're gonna go to the section over here. We're gonna go to, we're gonna go to format, and we wanna change the outline of each of the shapes. So we're gonna click the drop down menu, and we want purple, accent 4, darker 50%, which is the very last one, purple column. And then we're going to change the weight. We want it to be a little heavier. We want it to be 1 point. Okay, now we're moving on to step number 10. It says to select the Atlanta revenue by week. And now we're going to do a line chart. So we're going to select cells A4 all the way to E7. And it says to click the quick analysis button, which is basically this little button that pops up. And we're going to go to charts. And we're going to select line. And now we're going to click the move chart button, which is up here at the top when you get the design tab. We want it to be on its own sheet. And we're going to call that sheet Promo Departments. Okay, and then click OK. So now this chart has its own worksheet. We're going to change the layout by going to the chart layouts group. So we're on the design tab, quick layout. We want number 5. Now we're going to change the chart type, which basically is here. We want to make it with markers, so that's this one, line with markers, and then click OK. And then step number 13, now we're going to edit some of the elements just like we did in the pie chart. Okay, in step number 13, we're going to be changing some of the elements in the chart. So it's going to start in step 13B by changing the chart title. So we're going to click on the title. Basically, we're going to highlight, we're going to type in sales or promotion departments. And then we're going to change the vertical axis, which is the one that goes up and down. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on it, basically highlight it, and we're going to change it to say dollar sales. And then we're going to choose the chart elements. So we're going to go to the format tab, and we're going to choose from this section over here where it says current selection group. We're going to check the drop down arrow, and we're going to choose series apparel. And then we're going to click the format selection button. And then we're going to click on fill and line from this task pane, which happens to be this paint bucket. And then we're going to click on marker, because we're going to change the color of the markers, those little dots. And we're going to make the marker options open up. And we're going to choose built-in. And we're going to make them bigger. So we're going to change the 5 here to a 10. And hit enter. And then we're going to choose the series options triangle. It's this one here. And we're going to choose baseball. We're going to make the same marker changes. So we're going to click on marker, go to built-in, and we're going to change it to 10. And then we're going to do the same thing for basketball. So series options, we're going to go to basketball. We're going to click built-in, and we're going to highlight the 5 and change it to 10. So we made all these little dots bigger, basically. Now we can close this. And we're going to select the chart area. So that's basically our chart. Now we're going to go to the Atlanta revenue by week. We're going to add in something called spark lines. And they're basically a visual representation of how this information is changing. So we're going to right click the column F heading, and we're going to insert a new column. And then we're going to select cells B8, basically here. I'm sorry, B5. B5 to E18. That's our data range. And we're going to click on the Insert tab, and we're going to go to the section over here where it says Spark Lines. And we're going to choose the line one. And then in Location Range, we're going to basically highlight all of these columns. It's basically F5 to F18. And then click OK. And it basically adds lines to show if the sales are increasing or decreasing throughout the month of January. And we're going to format them. So we're going to click on the Home button tab, and we're going to go to the Format section over here. We want to change the row height to 24. And we're going to change the column width to 35. So with them highlighted, we're going to go to Design tab, and we want to put a marker on them so you can see little dots. So in this section where it says Show, we're going to put a check mark in the box that says Markers. And we're going to change the color to black, text 1, so the lines are a different color. And then we're pretty much done with Spark Lines. And all that does, like I said, was create a visual for how the price or the sales are increasing over the month of January. And we're going to change the page layout. So we're going to go to the Page Layout tab, and we're going to change the orientation to landscape. And then we're ready to save. And you can now close and upload your file for grading.